Okay, so we're looking at questions dealing with demand functions. Here's our first question. It says, suppose the ARB grants your firm a license to directly sell electricity to customers, as indicated by an estimated residential demand for function for electricity. Right? So we've been given a demand function here, okay, which is representing the demand for electricity, where the amount of electricity consumed sells for 0.44 per unit. Good Y sells for 1 kwacha per unit. The company utilizes 2,000 units of advertising on public information campaigns and customer education regarding electricity. Oh, sorry, just replying to message. Regarding electricity and consumer income is 10,000. Question 1. How much electricity should consumers purchase? All right. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do, find out how much electricity the consumers need to purchase. We need to substitute these values into this demand function. Okay. But first things first, I just want to show you how to interpret these demand functions before we start answering. Okay. So when you see a demand function like this, it means the quantity demanded for electricity, QDX, is dependent on four things. The first thing is dependent on is on the price of electricity. We can see a minus sign here, okay, in front of this negative 3x, okay. This minus sign is showing the relationship between the price of electricity and the quantity demanded of electricity. With this negative sign, it's telling us if the price of electricity goes up, the quantity demanded of electricity will go down because of this minus sign here. Any questions? If I move to the next one. Okay. Also, the quantity demanded of electricity is dependent on the price of good Y. All right. Now we see there's a positive sign here. That's telling us if the price of good Y goes up, the quantity demanded of electricity is also going to go up. They have a positive relationship. And if the price of good Y goes down, quantity demanded of electricity is going to also go down. All right. Then the quantity demanded of electricity is also dependent on income. We have a minus sign here, which is telling us there's an inverse relationship between income and the quantity demanded of electricity. Okay. If income goes up, quantity demanded of electricity is going to go down. And vice versa. If income goes down, quantity demanded of electricity is going to go up. And then finally, quantity demanded of electricity is dependent also on advertising. We have a plus sign here for the advertising here, meaning there's a positive relationship. Okay. So if the advertising goes up due to this positive sign, quantity demanded of electricity is also going to go up. If advertising goes down, quantity demanded of electricity is going to go down. Colleagues, any questions on that? Mr. Manasseh, Madam Juliet, any questions? That's how you translate these, uh, interpret these demand factors. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a negative. So it's saying there's a negative relationship between income and quantity demanded of electricity. So if your income goes up, it means you start buying less electricity. If your income goes down, you buy more electricity. Any other questions before we answer the question now? Okay. So now they're asking how much electricity should the consumer purchase? So let's get our calculators ready. Okay. We write our demand function QDX equals, and then this 12,000, okay, what it means is if the price of electricity is zero, the price of good Y is zero, income is zero, and there's no advertising, then the quantity demanded of electricity is just 12,000. That's what this 12,000 represents. If all these variables are zero, then the quantity demanded of electricity is just 12,000 units. So we have 12,000 minus 3px. So px is 0.44 because this we're dealing a quantity demanded of electricity. As you can see, there's an x with this q here. So px is the price of electricity. This is 0.44. Then plus 4 py, we substitute it with 1 minus m is income is 10,000, so substitute m with 10,000 plus 2a. So 2, so a we're going to substitute it with 2,000. Okay, so colleagues, let's tabulate. We're going to say, let me put all of this in my calculator. 12,000 minus, open brackets, 3 times 0.44 plus 4 times 1, that is 4, minus 10,000 plus 2 times 2,000, that's 4,000 plus 4,000. So we get 6,002.68. Okay, units basically, because I believe this the units for this electricity is just units. So 6,002.68. Any questions? Mr. Manasseh, Madam Juliet, any questions? Okay. Question 2. Are the quantities of electricity and Y substitutes or complements? So here, this is where we come back to the relationships here between quantity demanded of electricity and the price of good Y. So let me just focus on these two here. All right. So colleagues, remember a substitute good is a good that is used in place of another good. And a complementary good is a good that is used in with another good, and by itself it's of less use or it's even useless. Okay, for example, a phone and a screen protector. The complementary good is the screen protector. Substitute goods: coffee and tea. Okay. Now what we have to remember the relationship between these type of goods. Okay. With substitute goods, let's say for example, if we're comparing coffee and tea, okay, both of them, let's say they're priced at 10 kwacha each. Okay. So now if the price of coffee goes up from 10 kwacha to 20 kwacha, and the price of tea stays at 20 kwacha, what do you think will happen? What do you think is going to happen? In this example, we're assuming there are only two products, coffee and tea. Okay. And there are only two brands. Okay. And both brands were initially selling 10 kwacha, 10 kwacha each. Now the price of coffee has gone up to 20 kwacha, and the price of tea has stayed at 10 kwacha. What will happen, Mr. Manasseh? Madam Juliet, what would happen? What will happen to the quantity demanded of tea? If the price of coffee goes up, what will happen to the quantity demanded of tea? Yes. Have you seen? So that's a positive relationship basically there. Okay. That's a positive relationship there. Right. If the price of good Y goes up, it means customers are going to substitute good Y with electricity. So it means the quantity demanded for electricity is also going to go up. Okay, because of this positive sign here, so we say electricity and Y are substitutes. Because if the price of good Y, okay, maybe let's say that is solar, okay, if the price of good Y goes of the solars goes up, people also buying solar and go for the normal electricity. So quantity demanded of electricity will go up. So because of this positive sign, that's why we've said they are substitutes. Any questions? If there were complementary goods, we would have seen a negative sign there. Okay. Because, for example, as I said, if we look at complementary goods, let's say phones and screen protectors. So, in this example, we're going to assume there's only one type of phone being sold, one type of screen protector being sold. All right. So, if the price of phones goes up, what do you think will happen to the quantity demanded of screen protectors? Mr. Manasseh or Madam Juliet? Imagine there's one type of phone being sold, one type of screen protector being sold in the market. And you always need to have a phone and a screen protector in this example. Okay. Now, the price of phones has gone up, meaning people buy less phones, right? So, what will happen now to the quantity demanded of screen protectors? Madam, people are buying less phones. Why would they buy screen protectors if they're buying less phones? Mhm. It will reduce, yes. It will reduce. So that's like a negative relationship. Price of phones goes up, quantity demanded of screen protectors goes down. Price of phones go down, people buy more phones. The more phones they buy, the quantity demanded of screen protectors will go up. So please remember this point. If there is a positive sign with the other good, like in this case, there will be substitutes, okay, due to the positive coefficient. Have you seen? Due to the positive coefficient of PY, that's why we're saying they're substitute goods. If there was a minus here, we would have said they're complementary goods. All right, part three. Is electricity a normal or an inferior good? Do you remember what normal and inferior goods are? You can just let me know. You can say no, sir, so I can explain. But if you remember, please tell me what they are. Okay, it seems you don't remember. Normal good, when your income goes up, you buy more of it. Normal goods, there are a lot of examples. Okay, and if your income goes down, you buy less of it. Tea, coffee, sugar, bread, mealie meal. Okay, when your income goes up, you buy more mealie meal, you buy more bread, you buy more tea. Okay, your income goes down, you buy less mealie meal, you buy less tea. Okay, so with normal goods, expect a plus sign. Okay, because that plus sign is saying that if your income goes up, then the quantity demanded of the good is also going to go up. The income goes down, quantity demanded of the good will also go down. That's a positive relationship. The plus sign just means both variables are moving in the same direction. Okay, both variables are moving in the same direction. Now, inferior goods, this type of goods, if your income goes up, you buy less of it. Okay, you buy less of it. For example, chiwuk, we can call that an inferior good compared to the typical lagers. So if someone's income goes up, they won't buy, they'll stop buying chiwuk, they'll start buying lagers and something else. Right? If the income goes down, they can't afford the lagers, so they'll go back to the chiwuk. Okay. So here in this case, we see a negative sign here. Okay, if we look at the relationship between quantity demanded and income here, there's a minus sign here telling us if income goes up, quantity demanded of electricity is going to go down. All right. And if income goes down, quantity demanded of electricity go up. There's a negative relationship. So we say this is an inferior good due to the negative coefficient of M. Due to negative coefficient of M. Okay. Yes. Any questions?